What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be back to working on our super cheap turbo Civic. If you guys haven't seen this car before, we picked this thing up for $500 off of a family friend. Once we got this car home, we manual swapped it and then proceeded to build the cheapest possible turbo kit that we could put together. Once we got tired of the bone stock JDM D15B that someone had swapped in here previous to us owning it, we decided to build a D16 Y8 for it using a Z6 crankshaft, Eagle rods, Vitara pistons, and a comp cam. We also hand ported the cylinder head, and I decided to fill the block with epoxy. Now, in the last video, we took this thing out and started to rip on it a little bit and started working on the fuel map. Now, I am by no means a tuner. I mentioned this in the last video, so anything that you guys see me do on our tune file, take with a grain of salt, do your own research, and make sure it's going to work out for you. If you guys have any pointers for me, feel free to leave them in a comment down below. So today we're going to pick up right where we left off last time. We just started to turn the boost controller duty cycle up, and we're going to continue to do that some more today while we fine tune our fuel map and fix any other issues that we might run into along the way. So let's get through the intro and jump right into today's video. So now that we've gotten through the intro, the first thing that I want to do is make some changes to our tune file. Now, I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the intro, but we are running a maxpeedingrods GT3076R dual ball bearing turbo, which will supply all the air that we need for our D16. So let's go ahead, get those changes made. We'll flash the file, get this thing fired up, and go take it for a ride. Before we go for another drive, I want to make a few changes in our file here. Big shout out to PRZJ91 on YouTube. Reached out with some helpful information, helping me navigate and learn Honda a little better. So one of the things that we're going to try is we're going to go in here and change our hertz. We're going to go down to 33 and just see what it does, and then we can always make changes from there. So we'll set that at 33 for now. I'm going to leave the duty cycle at 55. So now that we've got that set up, we're going to go ahead. I did make a few little changes to our fuel map here. Added some fuel in certain areas, took some fuel out in some other areas. Like I mentioned in the last video, I am by no means a tuner. I am just learning as I go here. But so far, the car seems to be pretty relatively happy in the lower RPMs. We're just working on getting it cleaned up in boost. So we're going to go ahead and run what we've got here. We'll save this file, go flash it out to the car, get the car warmed up, go take it for a drive, and see how it does this time. All right, guys, so now that we're out here in the car, we can go ahead and get our file flashed. I'll kill the fan for a second. It is so boiling hot out here. It's pretty bad today, especially for the Northeast. We're not used to this weather. So I've got a fan in here helping us out since we don't have AC in here right now. I'm gonna go ahead and cycle the key, see if we can't connect to this thing. Doesn't seem to want to connect. I wouldn't either if it was this hot. There we go. Now she's connected. All right, let's fire this thing up. We do need to go get some fuel quick, so I'll probably do that before we do anything else, but let's go ahead and get it fired up. We'll let it warm up a minute and take it for a ride. Like I said, I'm gonna let this thing warm up for just a second here, and we will go drive it. It is so hot out here. I've gotten the IATs was 115, so we're just gonna have to deal with it. It's at 117 now, but we're not gonna get them super cold today. I think that'll be fine. I'm gonna get out to Mexico and we will start tuning on this thing a little bit. little fat, so I'll have to make some adjustments there. Looks like our IATs actually dropped during the pull, which is a good thing. So that's cool. Turbo's not making too much heat, but boost control seemed nice and smooth for the most part. So we'll take a look at that real quick and then try it again. All right, so looking at the log here, we made about 10 pounds. And it was still just a little bit fat, so I'm gonna take a little fuel out. Our AFR is still kind of jumping around a little bit, but it looked plenty safe to turn it up a little. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take 2% out everywhere again. So Control J and a minus 2%. Hit OK. Then we're gonna go into our parameters, boost control. We're gonna up the duty cycle from 55. Let's go 60 and see what it does. And then we'll up the quick spool from 6 to 8. I'm gonna clear this table, Control L, and let's try it again. It definitely felt like it pulled a lot better on that one. AFRs didn't look too bad. Went 11.7, I believe. I like to keep things a little bit on the fat side, so we might put a little bit more fuel back in it, but I ran it up until my shift light kicked on. We definitely can bump the RPM up quite a bit. I'm just waiting till we get it a little more dialed in, and then we can start messing around with that. But for now, I think we have the shift light at 7,200, so that's about where I'm shifting, and it seems to be running good. All right, guys, so we went ahead and made that pull, and it looks like it made right around 12 pounds. Let me turn this fan off. So like I said, guys, we just made that pull. It looks like it made right around 12 pounds. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a little bit more duty cycle. AFR didn't look terrible, went like 11.7 at some points. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of fuel right in here. We're gonna up the duty cycle on the boost controller as well, and then we'll go try it again. All right, I bumped up boost cut to 16 PSI. We bumped up duty cycle to 65%. And then for quick spool, we're gonna bump that up a little bit as well. We've got it at 8. I'm gonna go ahead and bump that up to, let's go 11. The camera keeps dying on me, guys, because it's overheating, but I'm doing what we can here with the heat that we've got. So let's bump that up to 11. Hit enter, and we will go ahead and get this flashed again. Get this going, and let's go take it for a ride. I gotta let those IATs drop down a bit, but we'll go drive it and see how it does. For sure, guys. So we'll have to go ahead and turn that duty cycle down just a little bit. See if we can do that real quick. Alright, let's try this again here in a second. ripping, guys. Holy crap. On 13, 14 pounds, this thing is flying. All right, let's take a look at what we've got. It definitely went fat that time. And we'll go from there. All right, guys, so on that first one, we hit boost cut. We can see that pretty clearly here. Let's see. RPM comes up, 8 pounds, 9 pounds, 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, oh, 16 right there, and that's where it hit our cut, and boom. So then we dropped it down to 63% duty cycle, and we got, let's see here, 12, 13, 13 and a half, tickling 14. So just under 15 pounds. It was tickling 14 pounds, which is perfect for right this minute. AFR is still a little bit scattered, and again, I don't know how much I trust this reading. I'm watching the gauge itself, and I seen it go super fat, and then it started to get right on up top. So what we're gonna do here is, I believe this because I seen that. So we're gonna do Control J, we'll add 3% right there. And then this, yep, it looked decent. Then out here, it looked pretty fat. So we're gonna go right through here. I'll do Control J minus 4%. Now this isn't exactly the right way to do this. But if I believe the readings that I'm seeing here, I'm just gonna start doing it that way. And if the car runs happy, I'm gonna go with it. If our fuel map seems to work, we're gonna run it. So obviously it doesn't look the prettiest right now, but that's because I haven't gone through here and made it look pretty. We're just worrying about getting it to function. So let's go ahead and upload this, and we might have to call it. The cameras keep dying on me, and we might have to come back out tomorrow. But we've definitely made some progress today. So let's get this one uploaded, and now we can go drive it again. AFR was much closer that time, which is a good sign. So I do hate the gearing in this car though. Second gear is great, third gear is very, very tall, so kind of sucks, but seems to be running really good. Oil pressure still good. AFR was looking decent, boost looked decent, so what I'm doing does seem to be working halfway decent anyways, but these cameras keep overheating, so I think I'm gonna have to head back to the house for now, and we'll mess with it either later at night or tomorrow. Looked pretty close. Go ahead and save that log. These Mexico roads just open up sometimes and you have to take the opportunity. But now we're gonna head back to the house. We'll look over the logs and decide if we're gonna come back out late at night or tomorrow. Hopefully it cools down a little bit. All right guys, so we are looking at the log of our last two pulls here. So this was the second to last pull. And as you guys can see, we made that change on the fly, dropping our boost controller duty cycle down to 63%, and it put us right about where we want it to be boost wise. You guys can see right before we shifted we were at 14.7 PSI, which is pretty perfect. I wanted 15, that's what I was shooting for today. and we did still run short of 7,000 RPM, so we've still got plenty of RPM to work with. The AFR is still kind of all over the place, like I said, so we're trying to work that out. So I'm gonna make a few changes here to try to help this out. So we're gonna go to our channel, our tables here, our high-speed table, the VTEC table. You can see where it shows lean here, then it's got a rich spot, lean, rich, 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 rich. Then it goes pretty good, and then it starts to lean out again. We're gonna go ahead and pretty much do what the car is asking for here, fuel-wise. I'm just gonna add it where it wants it, take it away where it wants it, and we will try to go from there and see if we can get this thing lined out. So let's make some changes and we'll try it again. To blow the tires off in second. Hell yeah, guys. She was happy with that one. Might have been a little bit lean for it, but we'll take a look at it. We're gonna try to do one more in third, I think. Our IATs are way colder than they were yesterday, by a solid 30-40 degrees. So she really tried to come alive. But I want to get some data in third gear again, so we'll see what that looks like. Finally got this thing close, and let me tell you guys what, this thing is ripping. For 15 pounds, this thing is twice as fast as the other motor was on 17 pounds, easily. This thing is gonna be a certified ripper, especially when we're ready to turn this thing up. We're really gonna have to think about getting this thing on a dyno to see what it's gonna make, because it feels like it's making way more power, guys. Let's go back to the house and take a look at this last log. All right, guys, so we're back at the house. I've got one of our last logs opened here. You guys can see that AFR was much closer this time. We do have like one lean spot a little bit after the crossover right here. Goes a little bit leaner than I'd like, but then comes right back down into the mid-11s. And then for boost down there at the bottom of your screen, we made just about 15 on the dot. So that's awesome. Super happy with where this thing's at. So if we come over here and look at our fuel table, first off, you guys can see that I did some major work smoothing this thing out. We've got it looking much better than it did before. I'm much happier with the way that fuel map looks, but it's also functioning and doing its job. Like I said, closer to the crossover, you guys can see 3 or 4%, but everywhere else is zeros and ones. So that's awesome to see. We've got this thing much closer, and I'm extremely happy with where it is. This was on a 70-degree day after a couple 100-degree days. And let me tell you, that little bit of temperature difference, really a big bit of temperature difference, made a huge difference in how the car reacted. Thing was absolutely flying on that cooler day. So I'm really curious to get this thing on the dyno and turn the boost up some more and see what we can make with this thing. But all in all, I'm super happy with what we're seeing. So as you guys seen, this thing is absolutely flying on 15 pounds of boost. I'm extremely happy with where this thing's at for how little boost this thing is actually on. With the engine that we had in here before on 15 to 17 pounds of boost with this same turbo, this one would drive circles around it. So I couldn't be happier with where we are at. Now we still have a ton of room to go. We can go way up with the boost. We've got plenty of room to go with timing, and the rev limiter can get bumped way up. So all the way around, there is a ton of room to go. I do want to get the car on E85 and get it on the dyno to see what this little garage built D16 can make. but we're definitely going to end up needing to do some other modifications to this car. It's going to need some stickier tires, and if I can find an LSD for the right price, we're going to have to get that slapped in there as well, because now that this thing's actually making any type of real power, it blows the tires off, but it's an absolute riot to drive. So as always, I appreciate you guys for checking out the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and check us out on all of our other social media platforms, Facebook, TikTok, and Bought to Build Official on Instagram. And we will catch you on the next one.